What's going on, Internet? Iron Jordan here. So, today, what I wanted to bring you was another Yu Gi Oh video of one of my favorite decks currently in the meta at Idnister. This deck actually recently got two top 32 places at the North American YCS. There were, I think, three YCSs that happened this past weekend, and of all of those three major tournaments, the NA one was the biggest. It had like over 1,700 people. It was a remote duel, but this deck actually happened to get two top 32 finishes there. It didn't top in the other two. One of them was the European one. I think another one was, I'm not quite sure what the third one was, but the NA one had two at Idnister slots. And as I have been playing this deck for the past like 2 months, it's ever since it got its most recent supports. I wanted to do a deck profile on how I play the deck and give you guys a combo tutorial, because this can be, it's really not that complicated once you learn the combo. The bread and butter is a pretty straight line. You loop extenders into themselves, but it's very fun, right? This really reminds me. This harkens back to DDDs back in 2017 of just having this big long combo that ends on a nigh unbreakable board. That's just, dare your opponent to do something after you make it. But I've had a lot of fun with this deck, and I was actually really fortunate. I was able to pick up the cards before they spiked in price, thanks to the hype from mostly from Pat's channel, because Pat started playing this deck in paper, and it caused the prices to spike a little bit. So thank you, Pat, for making that happen. But luckily, I was able to get all of the cards aside from the Cynet minings that I still haven't picked up from the guy who said he'd sell them to me. Regardless, I was able to get everything else at a good price. So very happy about that. But first, before we jump into the deck list itself, let's talk about our sponsor, MetaMonster Gaming. We have links in the description of the video below. If you want to check them out on their TCG player, they've updated their stock, so there's more on there. If you want to enter the creator code IronJordan5 at checkout when you're shopping from them, you'll get 5% off your TCG player order from MetaMonster Gaming. Shilling completely out of the way, we'll talk about the deck. I play this deck in the most consistent way that I feel possible. You're always going to play 3 Achichi. This is the Stratos of the deck. Just straight up, this is Elemental Hero Stratos for at Idnisters. It's the most important normal summon in your deck, and it is a 1-card combo. Picari is also a 1-card combo, because Picari finds Imitu, which is also a new card, that also finds Achichi. So these 2 cards are 1-card combo starters. Imitu is also a 1-card starter, and Cynet Mining is a 1.5-card starter, right? So these, you have 12 1-card starters in your deck. If you are on your first turn, you should be able to get Cynet Mining off. The only way that Cynet Mining is not a 1-card combo is if you are completely empty-handed going into like your second or third turn or whatever, and you draw Cynet Mining, it's not going to combo you off. But that's almost never going to happen. You probably can't fully combo if you're on your second or third turn anyway, because you've already probably used a bunch of stuff out of your extra deck, so I digress. So Achichi is the Stratos. You always play 3 of it. Picari is, it searches for a AI spell or trap, and so you always play 3 of this. And then Doyon, this is where I differ from people for the most part. Doyon is the third most important at Idnister Monster. This is a foolish burial that also gets cards back from your grave. So what it's going to do during the combos is it's going to add the at Idnister that you normal summoned, which is very important for extending into a 6k Arrival Cyberse, and it also is going to dump the Danmari, which is going to be a hot red on your opponent's turn. So this card is very important, hence why I play 3 of it. You want to see this every single hand. And if you don't have to search it out, you can use something like Imitu or Cynet Mining or your Achichi, if you already have all your other pieces, to find your Doyon or your Doshin or your Hiyari, which are cards that extend you into a 6k Arrival Cyberse. So that's why I play 3 Doyon, because you want the turns you hard draw it are better than the turns that you don't. We have 1 Beruro. This card is also key to the combo. It is a tuner, so it's searchable off Cyberse Wicked. I'm sorry, Doyon is not the card that dumps Danmari. Beruro is. Doyon, when it's summoned, gets one of your at Idnisters back from the grave, and then whenever it's used for a linked summon, whenever it goes to the grave, you get to add an eye spell trap back to your hand from the grave. So you usually add Imitu back or the eye contact if you have a extra whatever. So Beruro, I'm sorry, completely messed that up already. Beruro is the card that dumps Danmari. It's also the tuner. So what you do with this is that you get Splash Mage out, and then you special summon this off of the island. This then dumps the Danmari, and then you use the Splash Mage's effect to bring back one of your level 4s, and then you synchro into Wind Pegasus, and because Wind Pegasus was used with Beruro, you get another piece back. So you get the piece that you synchroed with, so you get the Hiyari or you get the Doyon back. And then you have the Wind Pegasus in the grave, so if one of your cards goes away, you get the effect of the Wind Pegasus in the grave on your opponent's turn, which is very, very nice. Next, we have 2 Hiyari and 2 Doyon. Usually, people either play one or the other, or they're playing Gachiri. I do not like Gachiri. I do not like Gachiri because it requires you to negate the effect of one of your monsters to special summon it, and that has caused me problems. I also think that if you're playing Doyon, uh, you don't need to play Gachiri. You only need to play one of the 2 Earth extenders, and Doyon is it's searchable off of all the level 4 stuff. So a Chi gets it. Imitu gets either one of them, and Silent Mining gets Doyon. So Doyon can be got off of all of your monster searchers, whereas Gachiri can only be got off Imitu, which is why we play Doyon over Gachiri. Hiyari just exists to be a water. You don't play any other of these 2 types of extenders of the actual attributes, and so it's very good for your Arrival Cybers plays. And playing 4 of them, you are more likely than not to draw one or to see one, and this is the ratio that I have found to be the most consistent. And then obviously you play the one Danmari. Like I said, it mostly just exists to be foolish off of Beruro, so that you can have a hot red on your opponent's turn. If you draw this, is not the end of the world though, because it negates an attack if you discard it from your hand, which is really, really nice. Next, we have Imitu. This is simply Rhoda that burns you. Just think of this as a less restrictive Where Art Thou, because this searches for all of your cards in your archetype, but you're probably going to take 2300 unless you're searching for Doyon. So if you're searching for a Chi-Chi, you're taking the damage. If you're searching for Hikari, you're taking the damage. The actual way this card reads is reveal one Cyberse monster with 2300 attack in your hand or extra deck, and add one administer monster with the same attribute from your deck to your hand. During the end phase of this turn, take 2300 damage if you do not special summon the revealed monster, or a monster with the same name, after you resolve this effect. You cannot activate monster effects for the rest of the turn after this card resolves except Cyberse monsters. You can only activate one AI meet you per turn. So that's why we played this. This also does not get in the way of our Cyframe Gear Gamma because it's after the card resolves, and so if you activate I Meet You and then they ash you, you can still Gamma, and then after the card resolves, you can't go into anything else. So, Eye Contact. Eye Contact is very good. This is the one thing that I really took from Pat's list because I was already playing at Ignister's before Pat put out his video. Well, at least I was playing them online. I did not have any of the cards physically. I had the new stuff. I had the I Meet Yous and I had the Dark Infants, but I didn't have the old stuff. So this is the one thing that I saw this in Pat's list and I was like, that card just seems like way to win more, right? It seems way too like greedy. But then I was like, well, Pat knows what he's talking about. Like, this man, he's a good player, and I'm not. So I'm going to listen to Pat's advice. And I have loved this card ever since. So please play exactly one copy of this card. Next, we have 3 Auto Reborn. Most people play 2, but 3 is very, very good because you're able to disrupt your opponent or put up bodies on your opponent's turn and say, quick play Monster Reborn. Why would you not play 3 of a quick play Monster Reborn? The other thing is that this can take the place of one of your extenders, so you don't need to draw these extenders if you have AI Reborn or Idle Reborn. Or the other thing is that it allows you to go for other spell cards with your Hikari if you have this. You don't always have to go for the I Meet You or whatever. You can do different things with Idle Reborn. Again, it's a quick play Monster Reborn. Play 3 of it. In my experience anyway. 3 Ignister Island. This is just the conventional wisdom of I don't want to get ashed and lose the game. So if they ash your Dark Infant, and if you hard drew this, you hard drew this. Because if they don't ash your Dark Infant and you have a second one in your hand, then you're going to go get Eye Contact off of Hikari and you're going to go +1. You're going to play Pot of Greed, which is very, very nice. And then this is recyclable every turn, as is this with the Infant, and then you can just go off. 3 Silent Mining. This is pretty standard. We're playing a Cyber deck. On top of that, we have a bunch of 1-card combos. So we don't care if we're going -1 to go get our 1-card combo. We really don't care. 1 Terraforming just to search out the Ignister Island. 1 Called by the Grave because we are a combo deck. And combo decks like to have access to Called by the Grave. We'd play more of this if we could, but we can't. Three, Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Obviously, this is just a very useful generic hand trap. We have a lot of room for hand traps today. As you see, our entire bottom row is hand traps. So, three, Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Three, Gamma, and one driver. The reasoning behind this is that we have Imitu and we have Synapse Mining, which can both go get our combo pieces. So, we can go into Cyframe Gear Gamma if our opponent tries to negate us. So, we are going to be able to negate their negate and then put bodies on the board. The unfortunate thing about this is that it does conflict with I Meet You. So if you activate, you can So if you activate I Meet You and your opponent tries to ash you and you go into the Gamma, you can still go into a Cyframe Lord Omega. However, unfortunately, you cannot use Omega's effect to get him or a card off the field. So that is a little unfortunate, which has been, but that's up to your own, if there's another card you want to throw in here, you can take this out for a more generically useful hand trap like Bell or whatever. I just think this card is good because you don't want to. It's just so good with Synapse Mining because you don't want to Synapse Mining and go neg 2 to do nothing, which is what Ash would do, and Gamma just kind of protects you from that. And then three Imperms just because it's another just generically useful hand trap that can be played going first as well. So that is the entire main deck, and this is just how I play it. Like I said, the only thing I would maybe change is the Gammas because they conflict with I Meet You. But other than that, I've really been enjoying how this deck plays. Next, we're going on to the extra deck. The extra deck is so tight. It is very much a combo deck, and it again another reason why it feels so much like DDDs is because the extra deck just feels so tight. There's no wiggle room in this deck at all. Mandatory cards. You have to play at least two Dark Infant at Innister. I would love to throw a third one in here. You need two for the combo, and I'll show you guys the combo here in a second. You need two for the combo because you banish one off of Wicked, and then you make another one off Dark when you have your Dark Templar out, and you do the combo. Dark Templar is a monster reborn for 3. You have to play it. Also, it searches Doyon. Transcode Talker. This is your best card when you're on the back foot because you can go from Dark Infant into Splash Mage into Transcode into a Link 4. And that's just easy day, right? Also, this is a 2300 Earth, so this searches Doyon from your deck off of I Meet You. Fire Phoenix and Light Dragon simply exist to search for your Achichi and your Picari. That's just it. This is why these cards are in here. I have never made these cards in my life. One Cyber's Wicked, it exists just to search for Beruro. One Link Garibo. Link Garibo is literally just here to shut down traps. If we can get a normal summon off, and then we can go and, if we know our opponent only has one back row, we can negate it. It just, it's just a good card to have. One Linked Spider. This is for two reasons. The first thing is that Arrival Cyberse makes a token. You can make it to your side of the field, and then you can turn it into a token here, and then link with the token. Usually you can't link with tokens. Or if you get Nibiru'd, you lose. However, if you have a Nibiru token on your side of the field and you link Spider into the extra monster zone, you can then use your Innister Island to continue to combo off. So this removes the monster from your main monster zone by putting a linked Spider into the extra monster zone, and then you're free to do whatever you want. Next, we have two copies of Splash Mage. The reason why we're playing two here is you need one for the combo, and the second one is, again, if your opponent breaks your board or whatever, you're going to need a second one to climb into a Transcode Talker to climb into a Link 4. The next card's a little suspect. This should be an access code just straight up, but I'm not going to pay for an access code. They are $150 right now. I'll get one when they get reprinted because they will, unless Konami wants to kill their game. So Crusade Avermats is just a very easy rank 4 or level 4 Link 4. You have a whole bunch of other choices. I was actually playing Topologic Bomber Dragon at one point, and Topologic was actually very good going first. Like if your combo gets stopped and you can still make it to the Link 4, you actually have Idle Reborn, so you can summon it to the Topologic Bomber Dragon side or Link zone, and then blow up your opponent's board, which is really nice, especially if you got cut off for making your Arrival Cyberse. But I figured I wanted a card that kind of did around the same thing that Access Code did, which was swing for big damage. Now, obviously, Crusade Avermats does not have the popping potential that Access Code does, but you have all these Link 4s to choose from. Obviously, the best ones, Topologic is not a bad choice. You can play Firewall. I wouldn't. It was the very first Link 4 that I was trying because I didn't have an Access Code. Never made this card. Don't really suggest it. Access Code obviously is the best choice. And then this Rasliger. This card's not bad. This card is not bad. It's gonna pop one card most likely, and if you're gonna have a transcode talker in the graveyard, it's gonna be a 4300, which is how you're gonna get to this card anyway. So it's not a bad choice, but Avermat swings over an opponent's access code, whereas Rasliger does not. So that's why we're playing Avermats. It's also not horrible to sit on because it can't be targeted and it can't be destroyed by card or sorry, it cannot be targeted with card effects, and also you can only attack this card. So if they stop you and you sit on this, access code doesn't break it unless access code doesn't target. I don't think it does. It doesn't. Access code does break this card, but you break access code with this, so whatever. Then obviously Arrival Cyberburst. The goal is to sit on this as a 6K unaffected by card effects thing that pops things once per turn, makes a token, swings for game, and does the big thing. So yay. One win Pegasus at Idnister. This is just part of the combo. Also, you can get Beruro off this with Imitu, but you don't. It's not why you play it. And the final card is Cyframe Lord Omega. This is really the only true flex spot I think that you have in this deck. I think Lingaribo is maybe the second one, but even then, this card's just been so good for me that I wouldn't cut it. Cyframe Lord Omega. If you're not gonna play the gammas, then you don't need to play this. So that's really all I that's really all I gotta say about that. You don't need to play this if you're not playing the gamma package. But I'm playing the gamma, so I'm gonna play it because it's just too good off of Sidant Mining. Anyway, that is it for the deck profile. Let's go into the test hand real quick and see if we can. Yeah, this is full combo right here. So you're gonna normal summon a Chi-Chi. You're gonna activate a Chi-Chi's effect. You're not gonna Astron effect. That's gonna be annoying. You're gonna go and grab a Picari. Then you're going to link into Infant. You're gonna activate Infant's effect. You're not gonna Ash yourself again. You're gonna grab an Idnister Island. You're gonna activate Idnister Island. Then you're gonna activate Idnister Island's effect. You're gonna special summon the Picari. Picari effect. Now, this is very interesting because you have a lot of different choices here. You can go for Imitu, and Imitu would guaranteed get you a copy of Doyon, which is really nice. You go for Idle Reborn to have a quick play monster reborn. You go for another island. I mean, you have so many. I think this is the correct choices to go for Imitu here. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and activate the Imitu. We are going to take some damage here in the end phase, but I don't think it's going to matter because we got full combo. We're going to reveal the Transcode Talker, and we're going to go get Doyon from our deck. Cool. Next, we are going to link into a Cyberburst Wicked. We are going to activate Idnister Island. We're going to summon the Doyon. So this is very important because we have the Sidant Mining in our hand. We can go get another at Idnister. So we want the Doyon to be chain link 2. That way we can chain block for the Wicked. So we will activate the effect. We'll do chain link 1. We're going to banish the Infant. And chain link 2, we're going to add the card we normal summoned. It's very important you add the cards you normal summon back to your hand. So if you normal summon the Chi-Chi, grab the Chi-Chi. Normal summon the Picari, grab the Picari. We're going to grab the Chi-Chi because we normal summoned it. That's going to resolve, put that in our hand, and the Wicked's going to go get our Beruro. After this, we're going to special summon into a Splash Mage. This is going to activate Doyon's effect in the grave, adding the Imitu back to our hand. As you can see, we have like 7 cards in hand going first. We've gone +2 so far, and we have a monster on board, which is kind of insane. Pot of Greed, eat your heart out. We're going to activate Idnister Island. We're going to special summon the Beruro. Beruro's effect is going to trigger, and we're going to dump the Danmari to our grave. Next, we're going to activate Splash Mage's effect, and we're going to bring back one of the level 4s. It doesn't really matter which one. So bring back the Picari. Then we're going to Synchro Summon into the Wind Pegasus. Synchro Summon into Wind Pegasus. It doesn't matter if you put it in attack or defense. It's going to trigger Beruro's effect, and Beruro's going to special summon the Picari back. So now we have 3 monsters with the same, or with a different type, so we can go into Dark Templar. It's always important that you play on the right side. So now we have, in our graveyard, we have a Wind Pegasus, to bounce one of their cards if they pop something of ours. We have a Dan Mari, which is a hot red dragon archfiend on our opponent's turn, which is very good. And we have this Dark Templar. Now, this is the reason why you add back the normal summon card. You activate Idnister Island. What Idnister Island says is that if you control no monsters in your main monster zone, you special summon one level 4 or lower at Idnister monster from your hand. But for the rest of the turn, you cannot special summon monsters with the same original attribute of the Idnister Island or with the effective Idnister Island. Also, you cannot special summon monsters except Cyberse monsters, even if this card leaves the field. So we have only normal summoned a Chi-Chi this turn. So we're going to activate. We're going to summon a Chi-Chi, summon it over here. We're going to go into a second copy of Dark Infant. This is why you need 2 for the combo. And we'll summon it to an arrow. It has to be the far left arrow that Dark Templar points at. Dark Templar will trigger. Activate Dark Templar's effect. When Dark Templar triggers, it'll trigger Infant's effect. So we'll trigger Infant's effect. Infant's effect will resolve first, moving it over. We'll change the attribute to Divine. You can really change this to... You can change this to water. We could change this to water here if we wanted to, but Divine is just the safest thing to do. So then we'll special summon anything but the Doyon. So special summon the Achichi, the Hiyari, and the Beruro. This way you have now 5 monsters with different attributes on the field. Then we can activate the Doshin effect in hand, special summoning here, and then go into our Arrival Cyberse for 6. And this is your board. You now have a 6k Arrival Cyberse at Idnister that is unaffected by other card effects. And you still have an Ash in your hand. So your opponent can do whatever they want, but even if the biggest out to this card is access code, right? So what you have here now is you have a Wind Pegasus, which, I mean, you don't have anything that can be destroyed except for the Arrival Cyber, so they'd have to swing into it with a 6300 access code or whatever, an over 6k access code, and then Wind Pegasus would then bounce it back to the hand, and then you have Dan Mari, which can just negate the effects after the access code resolves. So this is a pretty unbeatable board for the most part. It does lose to a Kaiju, but like, what doesn't, right? That's the only thing, is that, like, because this deck is becoming meta, people might start main decking or start side decking more Kaijus. That's the only thing you really have to look out for. But other than that, you see we still have 4 cards in hand. We can combo off next turn if we absolutely have to. We still have so many cards left in our extra deck to climb into, like, Avermats or whatever on the next turn, and our opponent's going to have a hard time getting over this Arrival Cyberse at Idnister. So that's the entire deck. If you guys want to take another look at it, here it is. You have your options over here on the right for things that you can play other than access code. So I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I love this deck to death. I'm really happy that people are, piloting this and, seeing some success. And I'm very excited because I haven't got to take this in paper to locals yet, just simply because I don't have the side net minings. But online, it has been so fun. It has been so fun, and it's been so good. I love it. I love it to death. So I will keep you guys updated on how this deck building goes. Like I said, the only thing that I'm probably going to change is maybe the gammas, maybe, and that'll take out the Omega here and throw in another Dark Infant. But I'm not even sold on that yet. So I'll let you guys know though. But I appreciate you guys watching. I know this one's running kind of long, but I just love this deck to pieces, and so I wanted to get on and talk about it. I actually hadn't even planned to make a video today, but here it is, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.